I feel a little bit underdressed to be talking about this movie, but on this video we're talking about House of Gucci. What's going on? Welcome to Victims and Villains. If you guys are new to our content, we are a nonprofit that creates content like what you are watching right now to educate and engage individuals like yourself on mental health awareness and suicide prevention. My name is Captain Nostalgia. I have the privilege of being both a writer and podcaster here among many other hats I wear. And like I said on this video, we're going to be talking about Gucci. This Ridley Scott directed biopic not only has a stellar cast that tells the story of the rise and fall of, and also redemption of, the Gucci brand from its humble beginnings in the 70s until its ultimate decline and rise in the mid-90s. First thing, I gotta get this right off my chest because I would be remiss if I did not tell you the real reason to see this is Lady freaking Gaga. If you guys have been following our content for any amount of time, I have done a lot of podcasts this year on movies. I've written a lot of movie reviews. I've made a lot of YouTube videos like what you're watching right now, and no performance of any female has come close to what Gaga does here. There is an electricity as she moves from scene to scene. Her arc is pure perfection. She just has such a raw energy that just glues you to the screen. And I've never seen her live, but from seeing videos, I would imagine that she commands that stage the way that she commands this screen. Like, I was really skeptical of her a few years ago when I watched A Star Is Born, and she completely turned me around. I was like, I want to watch anything that this girl is going to do, and father, son, House of Gucci, this girl just absolutely annihilates this role. Other performances that are worth mentioning in this are Adam Driver. Once again, another performance by Adam Driver that makes me so sad of the performance we got in Star Wars. But that's another video, and possibly another podcast for another day. Driver has such good chemistry with Gaga, first off, and second off, you just kind of see that, like, he really rises to the occasion and has a complete arc that is both captivating and heartbreaking in the same exact vein. And then, of course, you also have Jared Leto, who plays Paolo Gucci, and Paolo Gucci is quite an interesting character. Also captivating and heartbreaking for two complete separate reasons. And this movie is 2 hours and 38 minutes, talking about the runtime. For the majority of it, there's a lot of it because you have performances like Gaga, Leto, and Driver. There's a lot to keep your attention in the course of this. It never feels like 2 hours and at 38 minutes. Then you get into weird low spots. This movie is really weird with its pacing. A common complaint that I have when I'm coming to biopics. And I will also say, just a sidebar real fast, that I love biopics. They are probably my second favorite genre, right behind horror. That if you're going to timestamp something, it needs to be a consistent thing. And one of the things that, like, it is just really awkward about the pacing of this movie is the way that you just kind of get these, like, random things. Like, it starts off in 1978 and then it jumps to 1983 and then it randomly just decides to jump to, like, 1995, or, like, I don't, like, there's not many, like, time stamped things. Like, you're kind of progressively saying, okay, I'm guessing this is the 80s based on the fashion and, like, the hair and stuff like that, but it's never really ever, like, comes out and says it. And I know that's a super small complaint, but it's just like it helps the pacing of the movie so you understand where the characters are in conjunction with the story. It also helps identify those like lull parts. Those drier moments are really far and few between because of just how wide the performance, like how vast the performances are, as well as like the pacing and just like how captivated you are by the story. That said, not every performance is great in this movie. Majority of this movie takes place in Italy. And so what do? We cast well-known British and American actors to play Italian roles, which for some people isn't a issue. I looked to my previously made statement on Gaga and Driver and Leto. But Jeremy Irons is interesting because Jeremy Irons doesn't have a huge role in the film, but him and Al Pacino both, they start off their first few scenes and have a legitimately good Italian accent. And they get a few more scenes in there, and that accent just goes away. It's kind of like watching the very first X-Men movie with Halle Berry, and she's got an accent, and by the second film, maybe even the end of the first film, like that accent just seemingly just disappears. Yeah, same thing. But House of Gucci has so much going for it that it's really hard to find little things that like this just don't make this film work. Granted, it's far from perfect. There are a couple scenes that, or like a couple subplots that feel like they're explored a bit too much, and had the film had a tighter narrative, the film definitely could have been a better movie. That said, I'm just going to jump right into the Rorschach rating for this one, and I'm going to give this one a 4.5 out of 5. Like I said, there are very tiny points in this movie that just don't work. But overall, this movie, it's captivating, it's gripping, and it's just filled with great performances and just a electric leading lady in Lady Gaga, but also the story is gripping. And from someone that doesn't really know a whole lot about the dynasty that is Gucci, this was a fascinating watch. And now for our mental health moment. If you guys are new to our content, Mental Health Moment is where we analyze a theme of mental health and or something encouraging from the film we're reviewing and expand upon it for just a few moments. Early on in this movie, there is a scene between Gaga and Driver shortly after they get married, and he's kind of Driver's talking to her specifically about how he's happy, no longer living under expectations of his family's legacy and just the crushing weight that is. And he's just living a simpler life. And sometimes you find yourself in these types of situations where people want you to be something that you're not and expect something from you that, I don't want to say that you can't necessarily give, but that might actually end up being damaging to your mental health to fall in line with that. And so I just want to say that it's okay to say no. It is okay to have others disappointed in you, because at the end of the day, you have to live with your own mental health. You have to live with your own choices and decisions that you make. So I really just want to encourage anyone watching this right now, especially with Thanksgiving, it's okay to be different, and it's okay to chase your own happiness. No matter what that looks like for you, whether it's people think you're crazy, or you have to lose relationships, or it makes even family gatherings uncomfortable. It's okay to be different. And in the words of Driver, I've never been happier in all my life. Seek that. Put that in your corner and make that your focus. Because that happiness is ultimately going to improve your mental health at the end of the day. And if you're watching this right now and you need help with your own mental health, consider our resources library in the descriptions below. Or if you guys are watching this on IGTV, it is the link in the bio. and that is House of Gucci. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you guys are Lady Gaga fans, let me know what is your favorite Lady Gaga song in the comments below. And yeah, happy Thanksgiving, guys, and we'll see you guys soon.